Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about American politics, and we are going to talk about the blame game because it is starting for the Democrats. And so let's get in. Let me jump into the pool to talk about the blame game, to talk about who is to blame, for this catastrophic Democratic loss, getting defeated at every single metric. They got roasted, right? And the Democrats are now, they had to wake up and say, how do we get everything wrong? And they're doing that now. And there's this thing called the blame game where they're saying who's to blame. But it's not a game, right? Like, actually what it should be is the blame form. We're going to sit down, there's going to be, there's 25 lines on this tax form, and we're going to say who's at fault. Like, this isn't a game. This is real. The Democrats really screwed up, and I'm talking really screwed up, right? There's a lot of names that should be on the blame list, and it's time, and it's completely appropriate to make that list. So let's make it, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, who's at fault? First of all, the Democrat infrastructure, okay? The DNC, every official connected with the Democrats are to blame, but not for the reason you expected, okay? The reason that they're to blame is by putting up Biden. Biden should have never been put up. And the reason I know that is I had a conversation in 2020 with a very nice lady who called me on the phone, and I did not accept a single political call in this election. And the reason why was my phone, easily said, hey, this is somebody literally, like my phone literally said political caller, and I could just, ignore it, right? And so, but in the last election, we weren't that advanced, right? And so this very nice lady, she's like, hey, I need you to vote for Biden. I'm like, he's going to be an 80-year-old president. Are you joking? Are you making a joke? And she's like, listen, you need to understand. Biden is a good candidate, and gaslit me that an 80-year-old could do the hardest job in the world. That was a ridiculous conversation. She was a horrible liar, and I do think she was a nice lady. How can a horrible liar be a nice lady? We were in a moment in time where she really felt she was saving the universe, but that's no excuse to lie. You can't lie to save the universe, right? You're either a liar or you're not, right? And I try every day to speak truth, right? Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't, right? And that's why I use this channel to express my opinion, right? But truth matters, right? So it's a thing, right? So so Biden should have never been president, ever. Should have never been picked as a candidate. That's on the DNC, and that's for every registered Democrat who didn't go out in the streets and pour ash on themselves and wear sackcloth. They should have said day one, this is a fool's errand. We cannot have an 80-year-old president, right? So it's on every Democrat who allowed Biden to become a candidate in 2020. It's on the DNC. Every single person at the DNC should be fired, in my opinion, that was there at that time, right? And you know what? Fire everybody that was there in 2024. I could not have done a worse job, right? In my humble opinion, right? It's just, it's really bad. It's really bad, right? DNC's got to be rebuilt from the ground up. Rebuilt from the ground up. Rebuilt from the ground up, okay? So that's who's to blame. It is the DNC for choosing Biden in 2020 because there was no way that was going to succeed. And I knew that in 2020. I had that conversation, and I remember it to this day, saying, this is a fool's errand. This will not work. We cannot have an 80-year-old president. And that woman scolding me for saying something that was shockingly obvious and shockingly correct. All right? In my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.